Good morning, students. Today, let us see the properties of colloids in detail. First, it is color. When we are saying about color of the salt, it is not the same thing as the color of the substance. Suppose when the color of the substance is blue, then once when it is diluted, at that time it will reflect some light. So the color of the salt, it is not always the same as the color of the substance. Okay. Color generally, it depends upon some factors. First, method of preparation, then wavelength of that particular source of light, even size and shape of colloidal particle, whether the observer is viewing the reflected light or transmitted light. Even that also it depends. Size, when we are saying size of the colloidal particle, actually it ranges from 1 millimicron to 1 micromillion. Okay, 1 mu to 1 μm diameter. Generally, when we are saying about nature, colloidal solutions are having heterogeneous nature. Okay. Filtration, when we are saying already in ultrafiltration method, I said size of pores in ordinary filter paper, it is large, so that colloidal particles, it can easily pass through the ordinary filter paper. Okay. Same manner, colloidal solutions are quite stable, so it is having non-setting nature. Okay. Concentration and density, when we are saying, when the colloidal solution is dilute, then it is stable. Once when the volume of medium, suppose if it is decreasing, at that time coagulation takes place. Generally, when we are saying about density of salt, it decreases with the decrease in concentration. So when concentration decreases, at that time density of colloidal solution also it gets decreased. Okay. Diffusibility. Colloidal solution compared to true solution, colloidal solution diffuses slowly. Okay. Next, it is colligative properties. Colligative properties already you learned in 11th standard. It depends upon the number of solute particles present in the solution. We said no. Colloidal solution generally it shows colligative properties. Okay. Shape of the colloidal particles, when we are saying, it's quite interesting. Colloidal particles possess various shape. For example, arsenic sulfide possess spherical shape. Ferric hydroxide possess disc shape. Same manner, tungstic acid salt possess rod-like shape. Okay. So these are the physical properties of colloids. Next, we are going to discuss an important topic, which is optical property of colloid. So colloids are having optical property. When we are taking colloidal solution, once if light is passed through this colloidal solution, it appears, that is, we can view the path of the light. See here they are taking two beakers. First it is true solution. Next it is colloidal solution. Once when light is passed through the colloidal solution, the path of the beam is clear. Whereas see the first beaker, in true solution, the path is not at all seen. Whereas in case of colloidal particles, we can see the clear path of light. Okay, that is most important one. That we are saying it as scattering also. So the scattering of light by the colloidal particles is called as Tyndall effect. Okay. Next, let us discuss kinetic property. When we are saying about kinetic property, this Brownian movement plays a key role. When we are saying about kinetic property, in this Brownian movement, the colloidal salt particles, it is continuously bombarded with the solutions of dispersion medium. That is, the colloidal particles, it is completely bombarded by the particles of dispersion medium. That is why see here, the path is not at all clear. It is in a zigzag random manner. Continuous movement will be there, but it is not clear. It shows zigzag random movement. Confused state will be there. Okay. So the colloidal particles which are in continuous random motion, we are saying it is Brownian movement. One more important thing is that this Brownian movement, it is used to calculate Avogadro number. What is Avogadro number? The number of particles or ions which is present in 1 mole of substance we discussed. No? Even that Avogadro number can be calculated by using this Brownian movement. Okay. Even this Brownian movement, it is used to confirm the kinetic theory. Okay. Same manner, this Brownian movement, it is also used to understand the stability of colloids, whether the colloid is stable or unstable. So that stability of nature also we can explain by using this Brownian movement. Next, it is electrical property. For electrical property, we are having three different properties. First, it is Helmholtz double layer. In Helmholtz double layer, when we are saying, see this picture, the surface of the colloidal particle, it absorbs one type of ion due to that preferential absorption. So that layer, it attracts the oppositely charged ions in the medium. That is, if that layer is negative, then from medium it attracts the positive charged ions. Okay. Likewise, it attracts that and forms one layer. Okay. Likewise, it is forming two different layers. See the picture, negatively charged colloidal particles surrounded by positively charged ions. Again, that is attracting the opposite charged ions. That is why it forms two different layers. See in the diagram, some of the particles which is having similar charges, they are present nearby. So at that time, as it is having similar charges, it will not come close to each other, so that it starts to condense. So it helps to explain the stability of colloid also. So Helmholtz double layer, it is also used to explain the stability of colloid. Okay. Now, let us see the important topic which is electrophoresis. See this electrophoresis as well as electroosmosis. These two things, it is very important now. In electrophoresis, dispersed phase will move under the influence of electric field. Whereas in case of electroosmosis, dispersion medium will move. So you have to keep that in your mind. First, let us discuss this electrophoresis. See, for this electrophoresis, we are applying current through this platinum electrodes. At that time, this dispersed particles, it starts to move. You know very well that colloidal particles are made up of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. See, in this electrophoresis, once when current is passed through that, dispersed particles move towards another end. For example, in this picture, first picture, both it is similar. In second picture, see, the particles, the size amount of the solution, it starts to rise in positive charge side. So it shows that colloidal particles are negatively charged. That is why it starts to move towards the positively charged electrode. Okay. So define electrophoresis if they are asking. For that, what you have to write in the sense, the migration of salt particles. Salt particle is nothing but colloidal particles under the influence of electric field is called as electrophoresis or cataphoresis. Cataphoresis is the other name for electrophoresis. Okay. So if the salt particles migrate to the cathode, at that time it shows that colloidal particles possess positive charge. Same manner, if the salt particles move towards the anode, then it shows that colloidal particles possess negative charge. So by using this method, we can find out the charge of the colloidal particles. Okay. So electrophoresis is used for the detection of presence of charge of the salt particles. Is it clear? Now let us discuss about electroosmosis. Electroosmosis, already I said, in this method dispersion medium starts to move. Okay. Salt, when we are saying, it is electrically neutral. So medium also it carries the same charge. Suppose if the colloidal particles are negatively charged, then the dispersion medium carries positive charge. The magnitude of the charge will be similar, but the charge is opposite. Okay. So one here we are preventing the salt particles from moving. Once if current is passed through this, here dispersion medium starts to move. So the movement of the dispersion medium under the influence of electric current is called as electroosmosis. So with this, we will complete today's class, students. Thank you, students.